Hey guys, so today we are hopping on a really fun tag that's been going around called the Content Creator Confessions tag. It was started by two lovely YouTubers, Cate the Great and Better Off Red, and I just thought this was a really fun set of questions. I've seen quite a few people that I really enjoy watching also film this tag, The Honest Beauty Review, Angelica Nyquist, so I will leave both of the creators of the tag linked below as well as a few others that I've watched and enjoyed in the description box if you would like to watch more videos like this. But basically it's just a bunch of questions about the behind the scenes of being a content creator, things that don't normally get talked about in regular videos. I feel like these are always fun videos to kind of peel back the curtain and just have a little chat. So I'm also going to put on some makeup while I answer these questions, and let's just get started. There are 17 questions. There's a lot to talk about here, so let's get right on into it. All right, I'm going to use just a whole slew of products, some of which are from my makeup basket, and then some just random products that I feel like using. But I'm going to start with the Unfoundation Matte Tint, and the sunscreen of the day today is the Josie Maran Argan SPF 47 sunscreen that I'm really enjoying. So first question is, how do you feel about the term influencer, and do you feel you are one? I mean, I technically am one, as is anyone who is making money through YouTube videos, Instagram, etc. It's another term for a content creator, but that is technically what an influencer is. And I don't really have a problem with the term influencer. I do feel like a lot of influencers will say that they don't like being called an influencer, that they feel like it's kind of an icky term, but I just don't personally see it that way. I think I can understand why some people feel that way, because I guess maybe they don't like being lumped in with, I guess influencers do kind of get a bad rap, or have in the past, because of maybe influencer drama or scandals. But I also think a lot of influencers don't like the term influencer, or don't like referring to themselves as an influencer, because maybe they don't want to take responsibility for what this job actually is, and how they're making money. But my opinion is that if you stand behind the companies that you're promoting, and you feel there is integrity behind your product recommendations, and that you feel you have a positive influence on your audience in general, I don't see why you would not want to wear the label of influencer proudly. That's just how I see it. I don't mind the term at all. I think we should all kind of own it and take some accountability also for what comes along with this job. So question number 2 is, how did you decide to become a content creator? I kind of just jumped right on into it because I really wanted to do it. I started watching beauty videos on YouTube in, I think, 2012, maybe even 2011. I know I was in high school, so it was some time around then. And I was just instantly hooked. I thought it was so much fun. I myself was just starting to get into makeup, and I really do think that it was watching beauty videos on YouTube that really kind of sparked that passion inside of me, because I really didn't have anyone in my life who was that into makeup. I was just starting to wear a little bit of makeup myself at the time, and I was looking up reviews, tutorials on the products that I had bought. Once I kind of discovered the whole world of beauty YouTube, I was so into it. But I mean, I watched a ton of YouTube, and I just had the itch to start a channel of my own, because I didn't really have anyone in my real life or my in-person life that was as into makeup as I was. So it just kind of happened from there. I actually started out with a blog before I ever started on YouTube, and that was kind of like the gateway for me, I feel like. And then once I got my footing there, I just decided to basically just transfer over to YouTube. My blog doesn't, whoa, I hit myself in the face. My blog doesn't exist anymore, but pretty much once I started on YouTube, I just realized that that was where I wanted to be, so I stopped blogging and just went all in with YouTube, which I think is really what I wanted to do all along. So, but yeah, I feel like there came a point where I just couldn't hold back any longer, and I just had to start my own channel. Question number 3 was, what's your experience with knowing other creators in life, good or bad? So I haven't met any fellow creators in real life. So I don't really have any experience there to talk about. And I also definitely would kind of consider myself a little bit of a loner when it comes to like the beauty space and like fellow creators. I don't have a ton of like really close friends on these platforms. I know there are some YouTubers who like text each other all the time, or like I've heard of people having like group chats and stuff. I'm not really a part of any of those like super tight-knit groups or anything. Not that I don't want to be, but I guess I just haven't I don't know. I don't know what I'm missing out on here, but I definitely have a lot of fellow creator acquaintances, I guess, but I don't feel like I have a lot of like really close friends. But all of the interactions that I've had personally have been quite positive. Everyone is very nice and uplifting. And you know, if you are a fellow creator and you ever have any like questions about, you know, some kind of interaction with a brand or something, I am more than happy to, you know, bond over that, because it can be kind of an isolating job in a way. Like, you know, you're kind of just sitting in your house filming videos, dealing with the internet and all the weird things that come with being online. So yeah, I don't know, I would like to make more friends, honestly, in the influencer space. Question number 4 is, do you accept sponsorships and how do you feel about them? I do accept sponsorships. I'm very picky about which sponsorships I accept, but I have no problem with sponsorships. I think they're a great way for creators to earn a fair wage, like a fair hourly pay, because at least for me at this point with my channel, I mean, about 50%, I would say, of my income comes from AdSense, like YouTube AdSense, or Google AdSense, I should say. And the other 50% comes from sponsorships, a little bit from affiliate links and Patreon. And those are really necessary for me in order, like, without those extra things in addition to AdSense, I wouldn't even be making like minimum wage, you know? So as long as you're working with brands that you really do actually like, you know, and you feel like you align with, and you're disclosing it properly, I think sponsorships are great. Whenever I see a creator that I watch getting sponsored, I get so excited because I'm like, yes, like I'm happy to see creators getting compensated for their hard work. So, because most people start out on YouTube working for free for at least a year, if not longer. So I think it, you know, you kind of earned it at that point. If you're getting recognized by brands that you genuinely like, why not take that opportunity? And I also think, and this is almost a topic for a whole nother video, I could probably make this into a whole video, but I really do feel like the beauty community specifically, especially as I've started watching other niches on YouTube, the beauty community is kind of weird about sponsorships in a way that other communities aren't. Like, my boyfriend and I watch a lot of YouTube together. Like, that's actually the main thing that we watch at night. Like, we don't, like, we do watch some shows, but for the most part, we'll just sit, we have like a lot of channels that we enjoy watching together. You know, commentary channels, comedy channels, even like cooking channels. So we just, I don't know, we just like YouTube. But in many of those other communities on YouTube, it's very normal for every single video to have a sponsor, especially a lot of those male-dominated communities like gaming channels, commentary channels, etc. Now, I will say one difference between beauty channels and, say, commentary channels is beauty, a lot of beauty content centers around reviews and like honest, unbiased reviews. So that's why there can be a little bit of a conflict of interest when it comes to sponsorships on beauty channels, because people are often coming to those channels for unbiased reviews. So that is why I think with beauty specifically, it is even more important than a non-review based channel to really be selective about what brands you're willing to work with, and only working with brands that you really do like and you actually like their products and stand behind their products. You know, you wouldn't want to just take any sponsorship that comes your way. Whereas if you're a commentary channel, maybe it doesn't quite matter as much. Maybe it's not as big of a deal. I mean, I think you should still, regardless of what kind of channel you're doing, that you really do like and stand behind the products that you're promoting. But I do think there is a bit of a distinction there. But all of that is to say, I really do think here in the beauty community, there's still this like stigma around sponsorships, and I really want creators to stop apologizing for taking sponsorships, because we need to just stop being so weird about them in the beauty community and just like chill out. And I really think if it's a creator that you enjoy watching, you trust their videos, you've gotten value out of their content, I think you should be happy when they get a sponsorship. Even if it's not a brand that you necessarily are interested in, or maybe you've already heard about it. Nowadays, most sponsorships are just like a 2-minute segment at the beginning of the video, sometimes even like a minute or 90-second segment. So it's a short segment of a video the creator otherwise would have posted anyway. It's just allowing them to make, you know, an income and then be able to invest more back into their channel. So like at the end of the day, like YouTube is free to watch. As long as you have an internet connection, you have free access to YouTube. So I don't see a problem with, I think sponsorships just make sense. Question number 5, have you had an experience with a brand that left a bad taste in your mouth? I definitely have, and I'm not gonna shy away. I will name names here. So in the past, I would say year or so, brands have really developed a nerve when it comes to PR and sending out PR. And I actually saw Tina from The Fancy Faced did a whole video about this. It was a fantastic video. I will link it below. All of my fellow creators really need to watch this video because this is becoming a real problem, I think. So the first time I noticed this was in 2021, but some brands will approach creators about sending PR, which PR, the whole purpose of PR is to send out product. If the creator wants to talk about it in a video, they will. If they don't, they won't. I mean, they're just sending it for consideration, basically. There should be no strings attached when it comes to PR. The first brand that did this to me was Merit Beauty, and I know they've done this to others as well, where they sent out an email asking if I would like to receive some products to try out. And I was all excited. You know, it's a brand new brand to Sephora. They seem to be getting a lot of buzz, so I was excited that they reached out to me. And I said, I'd love to try out your products, let me know the next steps. So they said, great, please fill out this proposal, they called it, which is basically like a 5-step form. There were like 4 or 5 separate steps of this form, and you couldn't get to the next step until you filled out the previous one. So, you know, I had to fill in like my mailing address, my social media handles, and then I went through all that, which took like, you know, a few minutes to fill all that out. Then the final page was called content rights. And it was written in very like legal sounding jargon, basically like a contract, saying that by agreeing to this form and agreeing to accept the PR, I was giving Merit Beauty the complete irrevocable rights to my content. They would be allowed to use any content that I posted featuring their products. They would be able to use it for basically whatever they want. Paid ads, their own social media accounts, their website, they could use it for whatever they wanted, giving them the rights to my content. That is not okay. First of all, this was the first time I had ever been asked to sign a contract just to receive PR. And I was like, no, this is not how this works. And I emailed them and I was like, I can't agree to this. Like, you should be charging for that. Anytime you're giving a brand anything about usage rights, especially if it pertains to paid advertisements, they should be paying you for that. That left a very bad taste in my mouth. I told them straight up, like, it's really discouraging to see brands trying to basically get free labor out of, especially micro-influencers. Like, you know, a lot of inexperienced influencers are probably going to get this email and be really excited to be getting PR from this big brand and don't really know what they're agreeing to. And no one should be asking you to sign a contract just to get PR. That's not how that works. Contracts are for paid brand deals. Merit, by the way, I had like a few email exchanges back and forth basically telling them that wasn't fair and I wasn't gonna agree to that. And they were like, oh, we've updated the wording to be a little bit less legal speak and more like, I was like, I don't care, it still says the same thing. Anyway, Merit would not budge. They were like, no, sorry, this is the way we're doing it. This is standard for the industry. And I was like, no, it's not. I've never been given a contract just to get PR. Anyway, so that happened. A few other brands that have tried to pull this. One was Cali Ray, which I never heard back from them after I told them that I wasn't gonna sign that. Another one was, actually Versed tried to do that. And I told them, like, look, I really would love to try your products, but I can't But they actually said, that's fine, we'll send it to you anyway, don't worry about signing that. So I was like, okay, at least they were willing to do that. I still think it's wrong in the first place for them to even try, but and then another brand, actually the most recent one that tried to do this was Ace Beauté, which was very disappointing because I really do want to try their products, and I probably still will. Like, I probably eventually will buy their products myself, but I guess this is just becoming more and more normal, and honestly, the reason why it's probably becoming more common is because a lot of micro-influencers are agreeing to it, and I mean, you know, you can decide for yourself what you feel comfortable with, but really, I just would really love for us all to stop agreeing to these kinds of things, because the more people let it happen and allow brands to do it to them, the more brands are going to keep doing it. So I'm at the point now, I don't care how big the brand is. If they are trying to take advantage of me in any way, I just won't accept the PR. Like, if I want a product that badly, I'll just buy it myself. Because there will always be more opportunities with even cooler brands that come along. So please stop letting brands take advantage of you, even if you are a small creator. Brands want to take advantage of small creators because they know that we add a lot of value to our communities. Micro-influencers especially have a big influence because we have much higher engagement rates than you know, a huge mega influencer with millions of followers. Like, micro-influencers are very, very valuable to the industry, so please stop letting brands take advantage of you, please. Question number 6 says, how do you deal with negative comments? I just block them and move on with my day, really, like, that's it. But yeah, if a comment is just like flat out rude and negative, I'll just block them right away. Most of the time I won't block people on the first offense, but YouTube will allow you to go back and see all the comments a user has ever left on your videos. But you know, there's some people who will they always have kind of like a passive-aggressive undertone to all of their comments. I will block those people because even if their comment, like, at face value doesn't seem too bad, like, if they just seem like they're just here to not have a good time, that, like, I'm here to have a good time. Most of you guys are here to have a good time, but if they're just here to, like, bring people down or bring me down, or just they're bringing bad energy into my space, I will block them and not even give it a second thought, because I don't have time for that. And I don't, like, I definitely want to curate what I'm allowing into my space. So, but you know, the vast majority of comments I get are very kind. I think I just want to use my Essence Coral Me Maybe palette. I don't know, I'm in the mood to do a very simple eye look. I'm not really feeling like the full glam eye looks lately. Like, I just want to do like 1 or 2 shadows, an easy like wash of color. I've just been having fun with that lately. So I'm gonna go in with this shade down here. But yeah, you know, there's some people who just, like, they're always leaving comments that are just kind of like, are you good? You know, where people that I'm just like, you seem like kind of a toxic person. Yeah, I will happily block people like that. Next question is, what's your biggest pet peeve when it comes to comments? Well, definitely when people ask me something that has already been answered in the description box, I always list what I'm wearing on my eyes, on my lips, on my body, like the shirt I'm wearing. So always check there if you want to know what I'm wearing. Like, just only because, like, you're wasting your own time by leaving that comment. Like, just check the description box. Now, I don't usually list like what I'm wearing, like what foundation I'm wearing or like blushes, because half the time I don't remember what I was wearing, like as far as foundation and stuff goes. But I always list my eyeshadow, my lip color, and where I got whatever I'm wearing. Now, half the time what I'm wearing was thrifted, so you can't get any more anyway, but that's why I'm not a fashion influencer. But yeah, that's a little bit of pet peeve. Also, here's one. I haven't gotten anything like this in a while, but I used to get things like this a lot, like, oh, please review more products or brands that are available in X country, like, or in Europe or something. And I'm just like, okay, I don't live there. I haven't even visited there. I have been to Europe, but like, I don't know, I'm not well versed in what brands are available in your specific country. So you gotta give me more information. You gotta let me know specifically what brands do you want to see, because then I can actually take that feedback and do something with it. But like, Yeah, that's always so funny when people are like, oh, please review more brands that are available here. And I'm like, how do you expect me to know what's available there? And again, these are so few and far between that, like, you know, please don't think this is me, like, saying that my followers are annoying or anything. But, oh, the final pet peeve. But when people ask me something that they could just Google themselves, like a very simple question, just Google it yourself, girl. Okay, the next question is, what is your favorite part of being a content creator? I mean, one of my favorite parts is just the creative freedom that I get over my work. Like, I don't have to wait for someone else to tell me that I can do something. Like, if I want to make a change on my channel, I can do that. If, let's say, there's a type of content that I'm getting bored of doing, I can stop doing that. Like, you know, it's just everything, the work that I do and don't do is completely up to me. And then my other favorite part is just having this community of people who is equally excited about all of the weird, very specific things that I'm excited to talk about, like empties, project panning, the nuances of different makeup products, the thrill of finding like an affordable makeup gem, like all these things. They're very niche topics in the grand scheme of things, but they're fun for me. Like, this is my hobby. This is what I love to talk about. And I'm just really glad that this community exists and that you guys are here wanting to listen to me talk about pretty weird stuff. So, yeah, otherwise, I mean, yeah, it brings me so much fulfillment. And, you know, if I didn't have this, I guess I just would be talking to myself about these things, and that would be pretty boring. So that's what I love so much about this whole world. And then the next question is, what is your least favorite part of being a content creator? I would say, well, I have a few things. Like with most answers, I have several answers to each question. But one thing I don't like is that YouTube, and really just social media in general, does not really foster an environment where it's super easy to just like take a mental health break if you need one. Like if you take a week off of posting on YouTube, you can do that and you're gonna be fine. Like you can do that, but YouTube really does discourage that. Just you lose a lot of steam when it comes to getting your channel out there, reaching new people. It can really kind of hurt your channel if you do that. So I'm going in with this Charlotte Tilbury. I have this teeny tiny sample that I got as like a free gift with purchase. The Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk push-up lashes. It's only like the third time I've used it, but so far I'm liking it. I do really like the brush. It's a nice, it's my kind of brush. It's like a rubber bristle situation. Another thing I don't really like about just social media, and really this is also to do with the beauty industry as a whole, just how fast-paced everything is, like how you really have to stay on top of the trends and the new releases, and I don't like that, you know, social media really rewards people for getting up their review as fast as they can. Like, if you are willing to be the YouTuber who orders the new product as soon as it launches, pays for expedited shipping so that you can be the first one to have it, and then get your review up that same day, you will get rewarded for that. Whereas if you take your time, let's say, you know, even if you do go to the trouble of ordering something as soon as it launches and getting that express shipping to have your hands on it immediately, but you spend a week really getting to know that product, using it multiple times on different days in combination with different products, and you post it a week later after it's already launched. You know, a week in real life, in the normal world, is really not that long, but in the beauty world, you might as well just not even post that review because it's late and no one's gonna watch it because everybody already got their reviews up a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And even though that really, if you took a week or two to really get to know a product, that's going to result in a higher quality review. But that's not really how social media works, unfortunately. So that's another thing I really don't like. But luckily my channel isn't really 100% review based. I do reviews, but I'm just not going to be the person to review every new release as soon as it comes out. I wouldn't enjoy that, for one, and two, it wouldn't be sustainable for me or my wallet, and I don't really want to do that. Like, that's not what I enjoy. So question number 10, do you edit your own content? And if so, do you enjoy it? Yes and yes. I do edit all my own content. I do actually really enjoy editing. Now, sometimes I get tired of editing, or I get tired of hearing my own voice, because that can get annoying after a while. But I do actually enjoy the process of editing. It's kind of just like fun and relaxing to me, as long as my computer is cooperating with me and it's not being slow. I don't know if I will ever hire an editor. Like, if I ever get to the point where it would even make sense for me to outsource anything, I don't know if I would want to hire an editor, because my raw video files are so convoluted. I don't think anybody would be able to figure out what I'm saying. Or, for example, like, I might repeat something a few times and just so that I can get the words out right, but an editor wouldn't know which take was the right one. And I just wouldn't want to subject someone else to trying to figure all that out. And also, I also just think it would take a lot of time for me to go through my own footage, make notes to send to the editor, and then send it to them. All of that just sounds like way more effort than just editing the video myself to begin with. And on top of that, I would kind of feel, I think I'd feel kind of awkward filming knowing that like an editor is going to watch it. Because sometimes I say really weird or like lame things that I would never say. Like, I trip over my words, or sometimes I'll say something so cringe and I'm like, okay, oh, please, like, get it together, girl. Let's say that again. But I would feel kind of self-conscious, I think, filming if I knew I was going to be sending it to an editor. Question number 11, where do you draw the line in regard to sharing on social media? This is a tough question. I feel like I'm constantly like reevaluating this, because yeah, I really do think boundaries are important when it comes to social media. When I had a full-time job, I didn't share where I worked. I feel like that's a solid boundary to set. I don't think it's a good idea to just share where you work, just for many, many reasons. But, and if I ever get another job outside of YouTube again, I wouldn't share exactly where I work. I mean, I'm willing to share like what field I work in and stuff, but I think that's best to keep private. I don't really share like specifically where I live, obviously. If I live in a bigger, like right now I live in not a huge city, so I don't really discuss like the town that I live in or anything. But if I lived in a bigger city, I would be willing to share where I live as far as like the city, but I probably wouldn't share like the neighborhood that I live in, for example. Things like that. I just think those are practical things. I also don't share my last name. I wouldn't do like a house tour where I'm showing like the layout of my apartment or anything. Now I would consider doing an apartment tour in the future, especially again, if I'm living in a bigger city. I would consider it. I wouldn't want to really give away like the layout of the place, but I'd be willing to show like room by room maybe. I'm basically done with my makeup, but I guess I'll just keep talking because there are several more questions here. For lips, I'm gonna use my lipstick that I recently rolled into my makeup basket. This is the Madame Glam lipstick in the shade Pucker Up. It's like a hot coral. I'm gonna do like a very sheared out wash of this on my lips. I also don't really show like family or friends. I will show my boyfriend just because he likes being on camera, and you know, we've actually filmed a few videos together on my second channel, which I haven't posted to in like a few months, but there are like, he likes being on camera. I would even say he's less camera shy than I am. So question number 12, name one thing you wish you knew when you were starting out. So many things. No, I would say one thing I wish I had known was that the thumbnail and title of your video is equally important to the content of the video itself. I mean, you could have the same exact video, but 2 different thumbnails would give you drastically different views on the same video, because that's what catches people's eye, that's what encourages people to click. And that's not to say you should clickbait, but your thumbnail really is everything. I mean, obviously have good content in your videos too, but there's a really good video from Veritasium here on YouTube that I can link below about just how important the title and thumbnail of your video is. I wish I had known that a long time ago, and I'm still working on this, but like ideally you should already know in your head what your thumbnail is gonna look like before you even film the video. And you can even go back and change the thumbnail later on. I wish I had known that a long time ago too, because sometimes a video might not be doing super well because maybe your thumbnail sucks. You can go back a week later, a month later, a year later, and change the thumbnail, and you might start to see more traction on that video. It does happen. So I wish I had known that for sure. I also just wish I would have started out a little bit more consistent and more clear on like the direction of my channel, because I started my channel technically in 2016, but I didn't really start posting consistently and trying to improve my quality until like 2019, late 2018. And if I had started with those things earlier, it would have really benefited me, I think, because the beauty community is already so saturated that really, if you want to start a channel, start it now. Like, time is of the essence. I'm not saying you can't start a channel in 2022 and, you know, still blow up and succeed on YouTube, but it is a lot harder to start a channel now than it was to start a channel and gain traction in like 2012, when, you know, it wasn't as saturated as it is now. So I guess I wish I had just known more about like how YouTube works back then, because I definitely would have done a lot of things differently. But I don't regret anything. Like, I'm really happy with where my channel is now, and I don't necessarily want 1 million subscribers. I just, like, that doesn't sound fun to me. Like, I like being able to really interact with my audience, and I just feel like having a small channel is where it's at. You know, everybody wants to blow up and get hundreds of thousands of subscribers, millions of subscribers, and I'm not saying that as a way to like hold myself back or anything. Like, of course I want my channel to grow and succeed, but having a small channel has a lot of benefits. So I'm very content with where I am now. I mean, of course I want to keep growing, but I'm also content with where I'm at right now. Question number 13, is there any change you'd like to make to your content in the future? I would just like to start, I guess, expanding my content a little bit, just trying some different things. Obviously I'll still stay within the beauty realm. I don't think I'm ever going to change into like a lifestyle channel or anything like that. I really love beauty. That's what this channel is all about. So, but I do want to start just kind of dipping my toe into other kinds of beauty content, like maybe some kind of commentary videos. I have one that I'm kind of preparing to film. It's a kind of daunting topic, so I really want to make sure that I'm prepared to film it before I sit down and film it. But I would like to start maybe delving into some commentary, some maybe like, I definitely have a lot of opinions about the beauty community, about influencer culture and stuff, so I would like to just maybe start trying out some different types of videos here on my channel, because I do think that's really the key to continued growth on YouTube, is just being able to adapt and try new things and not just stick to the content you've always done. Like, there are definitely like core series on my channel that are always going to be a part of my channel, but I realize I'm being very vague here because honestly I myself am still kind of thinking about this. But yeah, I'm not going to make any huge changes to my content or anything, but there are some new, like, fresh topics that I would like to explore soon. Question number 14, what company or collab is your dream? So I'm not sure if this means like collabing on like an eyeshadow palette or something, or just like a sponsorship collaboration, but I would say there are 2 brands that come to mind, e.l.f. and Paula's Choice. Those are like my 2 ride or die brands that I have loved since before I ever started my channel. Like, these are the brands that kind of got me into makeup and skincare respectively. If I were to do like an eyeshadow palette collab, I would love to do one with e.l.f. because obviously I'm a big fan of affordable drugstore makeup. I love e.l.f.'s, well, not all of e.l.f.'s eyeshadow formulas, but like their Earth and Ocean palette, that formula is bomb. I would want to keep that formula and do like maybe my own palette with them. That would be fun. Or like a skincare bundle with Paula's Choice would be fun. I don't think Paula's Choice even does like influencer collabs really, but a girl can dream. But those are the 2 brands I would love to work with in really any capacity. As long as they're willing to treat influencers fairly, I'm all for it. If you see this eye like starting to get smudged, it's because it won't stop watering. Question number 15, what other creator do you admire and want to work with? I would say Emily Noel. I mean, Emily Noel, I almost credit her for me being here doing my channel right now, because she is really the first one of the very first people that I ever watched on YouTube. I still remember the first video of hers that I ever watched. It was like an e.l.f. one brand tutorial, because I had just bought some new stuff from e.l.f. and I was just looking for reviews on those products and how to use them and stuff. And I found her video. I didn't even realize at the time, but that's what kind of started all of this obsession with makeup here. And I just really admire her. I love that she just has this deep, wholesome love for makeup, and I would love to meet her one day. We don't have to collab or anything, but I would just love to give her a big hug, honestly. So question number 16, what kind of content do you hate? Hate in all caps. There is one specific type of video that I will always skip past and not click on, even if it's a creator that I generally watch all of their videos, I will skip past these videos, and that is Amazon videos. Any kind of Amazon haul, Amazon recommendations, Amazon testing Amazon makeup, Amazon clothing videos. Like, I have a lot of thoughts on Amazon and how the Amazon influencer program has really changed the beauty and beauty adjacent communities on YouTube for the worst, in my opinion. And I don't care about Amazon recommendations. I really don't. So I don't watch those videos. Question number 17. Have you ever had to deal with cancel culture? And if so, how? I have not ever had to deal with cancel culture, and I'm really not concerned about it either. Like, yeah, I'm not really worried about ever getting canceled because I don't think I'm going to say something or do something problematic. Like, I always wonder, people who say like, oh, I hope I don't get canceled, or people just get canceled for everything these days. I'm just like, well, what is it that you might say or do that could result in you getting canceled? Like, why not just go ahead and say it now, Like, go ahead, say it. What might get you canceled? I just feel like if you're not doing something shady or problematic, then you really shouldn't be worrying about that. I don't know. So that's the content creator confessions tag. That was a great list of questions. If you yourself are a creator and you want to film this, I totally tag you to do it. Thank you to Cate the Great and Better Off Red for creating such an awesome tag. Also, apparently, 2 very big YouTubers did this tag on their podcast. Manny MUA and Laura Lee participated in this very tag on their full coverage podcast, I think is what it's called, and they did not credit the original creators. They claimed that they tried to find out who created it, but they couldn't find the original creators of the tag, and I just don't think that's true. I think they probably just didn't try very hard to find the creators, because it's really not that hard to find the creators of a tag, especially when it's such a recent tag like this one. So maybe go to their video and comment and tell them to credit the creators, especially when the creators of the tag are like smaller YouTubers. Like, it could really help them out if they would just give them a little shout out in their video. So anyway, that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you've not already, and I will see you back very soon in my next video. Bye.